You have found the home of the late night fantasy goodies. Just like the old days on NBA TV, it's me, Rick Kamla, the fantasy freak. You have MSWA Hall of Famer, Dr. A, aka Steve Alexander. What is going on? Doc, I can't wear the Wemby jersey here without a shirt underneath because it's freezing ass in Florida right now. How cold is it up there in Atlanta? I know our friends up north in New York and Philly and Minnesota and all that, they're probably pretty frigid right now, man. How cold is it in northern Georgia?
It's not warm. Everybody makes fun of me because I wear shorts every day. It doesn't matter what the temperature is. It doesn't matter if it's snowing, ice, rain, sleet. I wear shorts. That's what I do. In fact, I do have a pair of Fat Boy jeans that I bought like 2 years ago, and I put them on the other night, and I was walking out of the house. My daughter saw me, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm going to Johnny B." She's like, "You're wearing jeans."
Did she say you're all dressed up? Did she think you were dressed up?
Oh, dude, it freaked her out. She couldn't believe it. It's cold. It's cold. It is probably like, I don't know, 38, 40 degrees outside right now. It's chilly.
Not good, man. Not good. But we're rolling here, man. It is Rick Kamla. It is Steve Alexander on a 3-game Thursday night. No NBA Cup. The NBA Cup shifts to Las Vegas, and the games will happen over the weekend. And you all will enjoy. We will enjoy. And we'll break it down as best we can. But we want to tell you about our awesome sponsor, Bet Online. They continue to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch games live as they happen and monetize your vibes with live betting, okay? They got the largest selection of odds on everything from football, pro and college, bowl season right around the corner, the NBA, college basketball, NHL, UFC. So head to BetOnline today. Do it. Have you done it yet? Do it, okay? Don't be delinquent on this. And don't forget to use promo code BLEAV, BLEAV, for your welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet Online. The game starts here. Doc, it is time to welcome in questions and a little Q&A before we start breaking down the Thursday night slate with our Magic Man. And folks, if you're tuning in after the live broadcast, welcome. Hope you enjoyed the games tonight on League Pass or wherever you were watching. Then we'll be answering questions for the next 10 to 15 minutes. Feel free to jump ahead for the fantasy analysis and game recaps if you're watching, in sort of a different sort of time frame. But, Doc, let's end to some questions right here. And let's go to Steve Sloan. He says, which Kelly O should I pick up? Oubre or Olynyk? Dude, that's creative, man. That's very creative right there by our boy Steve Sloan. Welcome, Steve Sloan. I don't know if we've taken a question from him before.
Dude, that'd be a good trivia question. Like Casey and I hosted our trivia game tonight.
How'd that go?
Oh boy, alarms are going off over here. It went well. But there's 2 Kelly O's in the NBA. Tell me who they are. Like, that would be a good trivia question for like general knowledge trivia. I think most of the people watching this show probably know who they are. I'm going to go with Oubre. I like Olynyk, but I kind of feel like Kelly Oubre is going to be one of the last men standing for the Sixers this year, and he's got a fantasy-friendly game. You know, he gets the goodies, he scores, rebounds. For me, it's Oubre, and it's not that close.
I'm an Oubre guy, Doc, as well. Let me go to his stats here to back this up.
You know, while you're looking up his stats, I did want to tell you that every time I mention the word Jersey, you get a confused look on your face. Maybe a combination of the hell is he talking about? But you sort of look like you're wearing a jersey right now. I'm just saying.
Not Wemby, bro. I got a Wemby jersey. It's not a jersey, it's a jersey. Bro, I'm in Florida. It's like it's colder right now. It's like the temperatures are in the 50s, bro. So
I'm just saying. That's sort of what a jersey is, dude. It's a T-shirt that looks like a jersey.
I know, but this is a T-shirt under a jersey.
I know.
So this is the layered look right here.
No, you have a legit jersey on. You don't have a jersey on. It looks like a jersey. That's all I'm saying.
You know what trips me out about jersey is the gender aspect of it. So sure as in SHI, but when I her sure, I think of like she. And so it's like I don't know. It just kind of throws me off. That's why I give you a weird look every time I.
So the sure stands for shirt.
No, I get it, but it's taking me to more of a gender thing than a shirt thing. I don't know why. We're weird as human beings. We're touched and we're sensitive in different ways. Doc, Kelly Oubre over the last 2 weeks. You said it best. You said he has a fantasy-friendly line. Okay. I'm a Kelly Oubre guy because he is a 3-ball steal stud. He doesn't block shots. That's fine. He does 2 out of the 3 of the fantasy goal block steals threes. Over the last 2 weeks, Kelly Oubre is at 2.6 threes, almost 14 points, 6 rebounds, 2 steals per game. This isn't even close. And we'll get to this more when we talk about Toronto, Doc. In the Miami game. But Kelly Olynyk played very, very few minutes tonight, okay? So Darko Rajakovic is not feeling the Kelly Olynyk experience. Kelly Oubre, Nick Nurse is a big fan of Kelly Oubre. So you know, it's Kelly Oubre for me, Doc, and it's not close. So let's go to another question here. Let's go to Johnster. Johnster says, who is better, Cade or Jalen Johnson? Boy, is that a good question.
Dude, I've grown to respect Cade's game. Like, if I wake up in time and I've got the right app pulled up, I'll throw $10 on a Cade Cunningham double because that's generally what he does. To me, dude, Jalen Johnson is going to be he's a different cat, man. He's different. And he's already the best player in Atlanta. And he's only going to get better. Like I'm a full-blown, I was already all in on Jalen Johnson coming into the season. And now it's gone to another level. I just love him. I love him and Jalen Williams. We were talking about the Kelly O's. Talk to me about the Jalens, dude. I love the Jalens.
I'm on Cade Cunningham, man. I'm on Cade Cunningham. And I'm a basketball monster, Doc. And Jalen Johnson's at 19. Okay, and Cade Cunningham is at, as I go down here, 51. Okay, here's the difference, though. We use Basketball Monster a lot. I do, Doc does. Okay, because it's kind of just a simplified. It's like the Casey Kasem like top 40 charts for music, right? It's just kind of an easy way. It's not the greatest indicator of who's, because there's a lot of advanced metrics and all kinds of stuff, and it goes into efficiency and all this stuff. And it goes into they bake stuff into their rankings that isn't involved in our fantasy games, okay? Like I'm over here on Basketball Monster. They've got USG, I'm assuming that's usage rate, PV, 3V, RV, AV, SV, BV, field goal percentage V, free throw percentage V, and turnover V. I assume the V is value, but I have no freaking idea what all that means. But their stat line takes into account all of the regular statistics plus that stuff. Okay, so yes, it's a good indication of who's kicking ass and taking names in fantasy. But let's compare these two guys. Okay, Cade Cunningham is at 23 points. Jalen Johnson's at 20, and I'm a rounder, okay? He's at 19.8, I'm a round-up guy. Cade Cunningham at 23 points, Jalen Johnson at 20. That's a +3 for Cade. Jalen Johnson's at 10 boards. Cade Cunningham is at 7 as a guard, okay? So 10 points is a big Pardon me, 10 rebounds is big. Okay, that's fine. 7 rebounds as a guard, that's more of a difference maker for your team. So for me, it's Cade so far. Let's go to assists. Jalen Johnson is a rock star. Kevin Garnett-esque, 5.6 assists per game. Cade Cunningham's at 9. Okay? Let's go to the defense here. Jalen Johnson's at 1.4 steals. Cade's at 1. Okay? Not much of a difference there. Cade Cunningham is at 1 block per game. Jalen Johnson's at 1.1 block per game. All right, Jalen's probably a little bit better in the defensive goodies, but it's a nominal difference. Let's go to 3 balls. Jalen Johnson's at 1.6 threes. Cade Cunningham's at 2.4 threes. He's almost 1 full 3-pointer more per game. You go to efficiency, that's where Jalen Johnson starts to beat Cade Cunningham. You know, Doc, that I play the volume game. I don't give a good gosh darn about efficiency because I know I'm either going to win free throws or field goals. It's going to be weird and undulating every single week. But what is not going to be weird and undulating every week is the fact that my team's a rock star in the fantasy golden and the PRA. All right. And so for those reasons, I feel like Cade Cunningham is the better fantasy player than Jalen Johnson.
And you know what? I'm okay with that. I think it's close. I'm just in love with Jalen Johnson, dude. I love watching the Hawks now. The Hawks have been hard to watch during the Trey years because it's been Trey hero ball out there by himself and just sort of trying to do everything. It's different now, man. And it's all because of Jalen. And Jalen was hurt almost all. He was hurt for a lot of last season. Dude, next year, Jalen is going to be a monster. Those numbers are all going up next year. Every one of them. But I hear it.
They're already pretty freaking good. I mean, so
dude, I like it. I also like it when we disagree. Like, Johnster wants to know who's better, Cade or Jalen. Well, you're saying Cade. I'm saying Jalen. And he's like, well, if those two idiots can't decide, then I guess it doesn't matter for me either. And he can do whatever he needs to do. Like, I like it when we don't agree.
So let's have our brilliant fantasy mind producer, Andre Lemouche, break the tie. Andre, so let's go rest of season. Let's just phrase it like, who would you rather have rest of season, Jalen Johnson or Cade Cunningham?
We're also doing a Twitter poll right now.
Because this is an outstanding question. It really is. And you guys rock. Johnster, we really appreciate that question. We appreciate listening to the show. Bunte Killa says, thoughts on Bub Carrington in 12-team 9-cat head-to-head, which is a great format to play. That's actually a very standard format to play. 10-team, me and Doc aren't into that. 12-team, okay, now you're kind of starting to separate the studs from the non-studs in terms of fantasy knowledge. He says, is he worth stashing or is he more of a streamer level player? His stats are not impressive at all since Brogdon went down. Doc, tell him about Cade. Tell him about Bub. You go first on this one, man, because we've been on Bub, but it's obviously been a little bit of a peak and valley thing based on playing time and who's healthy and not. So where are you at with Bub right now?
I feel like Bub is just out there running around with his head cut off, trying to do whatever he can do on a nightly basis to try to hold it down and to try to get stuff done. I don't think that I agree with Bunte Killa that Bub has not really lit it up since we lost Malcolm Brogdon, but Bub's not going to be shut down. He's playing for a team that's won. I'm not looking at it right now. I think they've won 4 games. Malcolm Brogdon's always hurt. And Bub is going to figure this out. He's learning on the job. He's learning on the fly. And there's tons of upside there. Now, it's basically essentially the same as having Keontae George. Like, there's going to be good games. And there's going to be stuff that he does where you're like, wow. And then there's going to be other nights where you're just like, oh my God, this guy sucks. Like, this is terrible. And I think that's where we're going to be with Bub. but I just think the potential over the long haul, once they start shutting guys down, I just think it might turn into a little kind of bub show.
I agree with everything that Doc is saying. I don't feel like I got to go get Bub Carrington right now. Like Doc said, when we get to March, I feel like Bub Carrington's going to be a must-have guy. Bub is probably going to be, Doc, like in a 17 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, goody guy at that point. He's not there right now because they haven't shut a whole bunch of guys down. Okay, Doc. So Andre Lemus says Jalen Johnson in the Cade Cunningham versus Jalen Johnson debate. So there you go. Our buddy out there, Johnster. And don't sleep on Andre's knowledge. He is a fantasy beast, just like your boys Cam and Doc. So Mamba Memo asks, someone offered me FVB Fred Van Vliet for my KD head-to-head cat. Should I do it? Yes. Durant is going to be back tomorrow, Doc, against the Utah Jazz. And just the overall upside of Kevin Durant. I know that he's way more injury prone than Fred Van Vliet, but Van Vliet has dropped down. It's like he's kind of going on the ladder here year after year. He's in his 30s now, not a young guy anymore. So I'm gonna roll. I know how injury prone Kevin Durant is. I understand the dice roll and the leap of faith that is involved in this, but I'm gonna go for the upside of Kevin Durant. Like if somebody will take my Van Vliet to give me back Kevin Durant, come on, I'm doing that thing.
First of all, shout out to Mamba Memo for that handle. Like that's solid, dude. It's not Mamba fan. It's not Mamba lover. It's Mamba Memo. Like I like that. Like that's creative. This dude, so Mamba Memo got offered Fred for his Kevin Durant. As I'm interpreting what you were saying, you think he should hold on to Kevin Durant. Is that correct?
Yeah, I guess I misread the question, Doc. You're right. I'm holding on to Kevin Durant. I'm not trading away Kevin Durant to get into FVV. And, maybe if you're an FVV owner, go ahead and send him out for Kevin Durant and see if the other owner takes it. Yeah. Because, some other owners dealing with this, maybe you can capitalize on this.
When Kevin Durant is healthy and Kevin Durant is doing what Kevin Durant does, he's like a top 5 fantasy player. When Fred Van Vliet is peaking and tweaking and getting everything done, he's like a top, 15, maybe top 10, maybe. But the upside's so much higher with KD. I think that's where you go.
Agreed, man. We really appreciate the questions out there, ladies and gentlemen. We really do. If you are enjoying this live show, and we hope you are, please leave the thumbs up. Subscribe to the Sports Ethos YouTube channel. It is Fantasy NBA Today, Ethos After Dark. Rick Kamla, FSWA Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. And if you're listening to the podcast, via the podcast, make sure you're subscribed. Leave a 5-star review. That will help keep me and Doc employed and bringing you the late night fantasy goodies as we go old school, like a generation ago, back when I was hosting Gatorade Virtual GM on NBA TV, and Doc was a nightly caller bringing his fantasy goodies to the program. And Doc, I'll never forget the producers that I had at NBA TV. They freaking loved you, bro, because every night they were a little bit concerned about getting phone calls because it was a phone call driven show. And clearly phone calls took up like, 5 or 6 of the 22 minutes that we were on the air, and then we were doing our segments and stuff like that. But they were always like they wanted those questions, right? They wanted those callers to fill that slot in the show. So knowing that you were going to call every night, they were big fans of yours, bro, and you always brought great stuff, and we always love hearkening to the past. So, Doc, with that said, as we have incorporated the Magic Man on this show, and that was a Doc idea, okay, to bring that back. And I was like, yeah, the Magic Man, of course we should do that. Magic being Magic Johnson. And this is sort of the vibe here. And he's the, I guess, signature dude or the face of our best player of the night. And so we can get creative. get obvious. Let's see where Doc goes with this. Doc, who's your Magic Man here on a 3-game Thursday night?
Well, first of all, people are like, wow, so Doc called into Rick's show every single night at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and he bugged all these NBA players for their shoes and did all this weird stuff. What a stalker. That's all I hear. That's all I heard. But I like to get creative with the Magic Man of the night. I like to give some of the guys who don't get all the love all the time some love. And I don't think I'm going where you think I'm going, Rick. I'm not going Ronnie Holland. I'm not getting crazy. I'm not going with my guy, Peyton, who I freaking love. That kid plays for Boston. I'm going RJ Barrett, who we talked at length about the other night. I would have guessed a couple years ago, 3 years ago, that RJ Barrett would never have a triple-double in his life. He had a triple-double. He had 13 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists. Now, he only hit 5 of 18 shots, but that's what RJ Barrett does. That's why he's so disliked in the fantasy community. He also had 6 turnovers. That's another thing he does that people don't like him for. But he also had 3 blocks. He had a triple-double. And just good job, RJ Barrett, for shooter's going to shoot. If it's not falling, you keep shooting. But I just thought it was cool he got a triple-double.
No doubt, dude. RJ Barrett is having his breakout season. I like that call. So my Magic Man of the night is Bam Adebayo, Doc, of the Miami Heat. We know that the trade rumors around Jimmy Butler are swirling. We know that he's going to be traded. Shams Charania has reported his list of preferred destinations. Look, man, they did that with Kevin Durant. They did that, I believe, with James Harden. So when Shams Charania is listing preferred destinations, that dude is good, gone. All right. So Bam Adebayo now is taking over as the number 1 guy. Is he a better offensive option than Tyler Hero? Maybe it's the hub of an offense, but not putting the ball in the hole. But with Jimmy Butler in this weird limbo purgatory phase with Miami, Bam Adebayo needs to ascend. And I believe that the whole coaching philosophy now is going to be like tilted over towards Bam. We got a glimpse of that tonight, and it was a really good glimpse, okay? He went 21, 16, and 5, 1 block, 1 3. And we know that last year and all previous years, Bam Adebayo did nothing from the 3 line like Brook Lopez did, like Marc Gasol did. And I'll just stop right there. And then Marc Gasol and Brook Lopez got their 3 ball, right? And it totally changed them and made them way more valuable in fantasy basketball and frankly, way more valuable in reality as well. So, and I want to give you these numbers here, Doc. Bam Adebayo over the last 2 weeks, okay, 2 weeks, 16, 12, and 7 is his PRA. That's ridiculous. 16, 12, and 7. 1.2 steals, 1.2 threes per game over the last 2 weeks. Bam Adebayo from the 3 line is real. It's a real thing. I think we're at 1 3 per game. And Bam is almost at a 1-1-1 guy. All right. This is the best fantasy version we have seen of Bam Adebayo. And there are those out there, Doc, that are going to say, Cam, how? Here's the cup, go to the bathroom and pee in it. We need to evaluate it because he's not a 2010 guy anymore. Okay. I get that. Although I think he's going to get back to that with this weirdness with Jimmy Butler. His stat line on the year, Doc, is ranked 42nd overall on Basketball Monster. He's at 16, 10, and 5. He's at 0.8 blocks. We're getting there. He's at 1.5 steals, and he's at 1-3. He's almost a 1-1-1 guy with a studly PRA And the efficiency is there. And so I'm really excited about Bam on a biodoc for the rest of the year. He got off to a slow start, but he's really starting to cook right now. Miami is actually playing pretty good basketball, Doc. They're 3 games over 500. And I think that they have the opportunity, depending on what they get back for Jimmy Butler, to spike and become kind of like a, whoa, we got to take a look at Miami in the Eastern Conference, not unlike what we're doing right now with the Atlanta Hawks.
You know what I was impressed with in tonight's games was Jimmy Butler. God, man, I'm so glad I drafted him in every league. I'm so glad I spent my 2nd or 3rd round pick on Jimmy Butler.
Why did you do that, dude? Why did you do that?
He gets me. I don't have Jimmy Butler on any team ever.
Okay, this is sarcasm. Good, you had me. I was like, dude, you sold that well. You like deadpanned that shit. I thought you were serious.
11 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 0 steals, 0 threes, 1 block, 3 turnovers. Like, get him out of Miami. If Jimmy Butler gets out of Miami, I might start watching the Heat so I can see what this guy Bam Adebayo is all about. Because right now, I can't do it. But, Bam, like 4 years ago, I think he was averaging like, I don't know, it was like 18 and 10 and 5 assists. And I was like, Bam Adebayo, 5 assists a game. Like, I was kind of buying into it. I was like, I think he's going to be an up and coming guy for the next few years. And then the assists just kind of went away. So the fact he's been at 7 dimes over the last couple weeks, that's extremely encouraging. But he's probably like, somebody's got to pass the ball because Jimmy ain't doing it.
We're not Jimmy Butler guys over here, ladies and gentlemen. We're not. And we haven't been for a while. And Pat Riley is not a Jimmy Butler guy, and we'll see where he gets traded to. So, Doc, let's move on here. Our Magic men are in the rearview mirror. Let's move on to the Pistons at the Boston Celtics as we recap Thursday night's games. This game was not competitive. Boston absolutely thrashed the Detroit Pistons. Jason Tatum did not play in this game. It's a little weird because the box score said illness. It's being reported, though, as a right patella tendinopathy thing. Guys and girls, this is a rest game. It's a home game against Detroit, and they got Jason Tatum off the floor. Maybe he was ill a little bit, had the sniffles or something. I don't damn know. But don't worry about Tatum. This is not some kind of injury here. And Jason Tatum being out, like, who did it activate? Who did it help? Okay, Porzingis had a game tonight. Derek White had a game tonight. Jaylen Brown was a little bit muted tonight. But Peyton Pritchard went off again. 27 points, 4 rebounds, 10 assists, 7 freaking threes, bro. You know what, Doc? I want to go to tell them about Peyton Pritchard, and I'm going to go to DraftKings. I want to pull up their 6th man of the year odds and see where Peyton Pritchard is at right now, because he's got to be very prominent in the 6th man of the year rankings right now, I would think.
Who were we talking about the other night that doesn't shoot 3-pointers? Was it TJ McConnell?
Yes.
Him and Peyton Pritchard play the same game, except Peyton Pritchard shoots and hits 3-pointers, and TJ McConnell doesn't. Also, Peyton Pritchard's balling out this year. Like, anytime somebody gets a night off in Boston, Peyton Pritchard's probably going to step up and do some stuff. 27 points, 10 assists, 1 turnover, 31 minutes. Game was a blowout. They left him out there, let him play. I have Pritchard on a bunch of teams again this year. He helped me win the 30 deep team or 30 deep league last year. Pritchard should be rostered in every fantasy league. Mute.
I tried while you were talking, Doc, while listening to do it, and there's some kind of what do they call it? The like barcode, and DraftKings are killing me right now. But I couldn't pull it up. Like it's another click. Were
you gonna look at his price?
I wanted to look at, like, is Peyton Pritchard plus 500? Is he plus 350? Right. Like, where's he at for sixth man of the year? Because, Doc,
I bet you somebody can get us that answer real quickly. He's
Doc,
probably already got it.
and his name is Andre Lemouche, right?
That is correct.
Doc,
minus 250.
Bro. Okay, so that has to be the top odds. He has to be the front runner for sixth man of the year. And a minus 250? Dude, that's prohibitive odds. That means you don't bet that. I'm spending $250 to win $100 on Peyton Pritchard to win sixth man of the year. I don't think it's that much of a closed case, right? Like, I think Boston is like they're the defending champs. They're a sexy team, and so he's. I don't know. Maybe he's a hot button player to people, but like, minus 250 for Peyton Pritchard, bro. Are you trying to outlay 2.5 times your money just to make a nominal return on your investment for Peyton Pritchard? Are you doing that? Like, Doc, is this a runaway? Have they engraved Peyton Pritchard on the sixth man of the year award? Because if you say yes, then you may change my opinion. But minus 250 says to me that they've engraved his name on the trophy already.
Andre just gave us a quote. The NBA sixth man of the year odds has seen some wild movement as the current was at plus 5,000 when the season tipped off. But Peyton Pritchard is now the heavy favorite, sitting as short as minus 275. I mean, there's two ways to look at this, Rick. One, you don't touch it because you don't know what's going to happen between now and April. Or two, you get in now so that you can win 100 on 275 versus doing it in February when it maybe, bet 100 to win 700. I mean, who knows? I mean, bet 700 to win $100 is what I meant. Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, he's got it locked up.
Apparently, he does. So, Doc, what that tells me is that us missed the boat. This is not a bet. It's not a bet. Vegas is telling you don't bet on this. I mean, the odds suck. There's just not value there to me because, Doc, we have a long way to go in this regular season. What if Peyton Pritchard blows the tire? Okay. What if somebody else on some other team has some renaissance of a spike and makes it a battle? Like, I mean, right now it looks like he's going to win sixth man of the year, but at a minus 250, there's just no value there. You had to get in earlier and anticipate this spike and capitalize on it earlier. And here we are. I mean, it's coming up on December 12th. This is what it is when we're having the conversation. But this is to me, this is a stay away. Like Doc said, like you're just hot and bothered. You got a fistful of cash and you want to play some future bets. Look elsewhere. This is not the future bet, to get your freak on with, in my opinion. Andre's telling us that Amen Thompson is a plus 1,000. Jared McCain's a plus 1,600. Ty Jerome's a plus 2,200. Like in reality, the sixth man of the year for me is Ty Jerome. I don't care about statistics. In reality, the games I'm watching, the games that are being changed and altered by a player off the bench, I feel like Ty Jerome is doing that more for Cleveland than Peyton Pritchard is for the Boston Celtics. Maybe that's just me in the nutty way that I look at this game. But Ty Jerome has literally flipped games in the favor of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Peyton Pritchard, to me, has been the cherry on top of the sundae that's already kicking ass. And he's just like, extra ammunition on top of what they've already got. Jared McCain, Doc, has a chance, but for him to really kick ass with the stats, guys are going to have to go out with injury and he's going to have to enter the starting lineup. So I don't know if that's going to cancel him out for sixth man of the year. And then you have but for Amen Thompson, Doc, what you need is and I God forbid this happens, but you would need a Fred VanVleet to blow a tire. And then Amen Thompson to join the starting lineup. But at that point, again, Doc, maybe then Because look, to win sixth man of the year, you have to come off the bench more games than you start. So let's say you start 43 games and you come off the bench for 39 games. You cannot win sixth man of the year. You cannot win sixth man of the year. You have to play more bench games than start games to even qualify for the award.
Yeah. Let's move on. Derek White, the guy that started in front of Peyton Pritchard, had a really solid game. 23 points, 2 boards, 4 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, 7 triples, the same number as Peyton Pritchard had. This game was a blowout, or these guys would have put up bigger numbers. And while we're here, I'm just going to talk about what a buzzkill Al Horford has been for me. Like, we talk about it all the time. You know, when draft season was here, I was like, hell, I'm just going to wait and get my centers lit. I'll get Brook Lopez and Al Horford and whoever else. I'll be fine. And I've been okay, but I'm kind of regretting waiting so long to get a center and waiting for Al Horford, because 2 points, 6 boards, no steals, no blocks, no threes. He took 3 shots in 20 minutes tonight, wasn't in foul trouble. They just didn't need him. And they're like, all right, let the old man rest. And I feel like that's the general attitude of the Celtics this year. Is like, oh, we're playing the Pistons. Tatum's got a knee thing. We'll call it an illness. It doesn't really matter. He's taking the night off again. And then we're holding everybody else under 30 minutes. So it's just, they're too good. They're 20-5. They're too good.
Look, if Al Horford was a really good fantasy player when Kristaps Porzingis was out to start the year. Porzingis is back, and I understand Tatum was out tonight, but when Porzingis is in there, you have Brown in there, and you have White in there, and Drew Holiday's taking his, 10 or 12 shots, and Peyton Pritchard's taking his shots. That doesn't leave a lot of shots. And basically, Doc, what that turns Al Horford into is a stand in the corner, wait on a kick out 3. It turns him into a corner 3-ball guy, right? There's no post-ups. There's no offensive rebound putbacks. He's basically just a floor spacer for this team. So he's in a bad position right now, like tactically and reality-wise, to even impact fantasy basketball. I will say this, though. If you drop Al Horford, he will be picked up like that, okay? So just know that. Like don't get butthurt if you try to go out on waivers and get a guy. Here's another thing to consider, Doc. Luke Cornett, they love him in Boston. He plays. He's pretty good. Neemias Queta is a good player. They play him too. So you've got a couple of like infrastructure bigs who are kind of Pac-Manning at Al Horford a little bit. And the Celtics are obviously thinking till June. They want Al Horford to be on the tracks until June. And so you know how that is, Doc. Like, if we can get Al Horford off the floor for 5 minutes here on a night in December, that's going to benefit him long haul. But like if Al Horford's playing 5 less minutes, that takes him from basically a fantasy guy to a waiver wire guy. But, so do what you got. If you got to drop Al Horford, drop Al Horford, but just know that he's going to be snatched up right away because of the big name and because of the fantasy upside if he gets the minute. Doc, Jalen Duren was out tonight with a right wrist sprain. Isaiah Stewart got the start. He did nothing. But if Jalen Duren is going to miss time, and Jalen Duren's already been a disappointment, and I'm not saying send him to waivers and like, I'm done with this guy, but like he's out, right? We're sprained. Who the F knows how long he's going to miss? But Beef Stew started for him tonight. And I'm looking, Beef Stew is a pickup for me right now. Doc, even though he had kind of a light fantasy line tonight, but guess what? He was going up against the Boston Celtics at TD Garden, which is one of the toughest freaking venues and teams in the league. I'm not mad at Isaiah Stewart. In the next game that he starts for Jalen Duren, he may go 13-10 with 3 assists and 2 blocks and 2 threes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Stewart was terrible. Terrible tonight. Like if you used him in DFS, you lost. But, He played 28 minutes, and there's nobody else to play center for this team. So it is what it is. Like, he's the guy. And he's had a good season, I think, overall. And he's generally been semi-reliable in DFS. I'm going to say this has got to be his worst game of the year, right? Like, we haven't seen a line like this from this kid all year. So I'm cool with that. Tobias Harris, who you guys know I'm not a big fan of. I was like, you know what? I'm going to put him in my DFS lineup tonight. Roll with Tobias Harris. 9 points, 8 boards. I think he suffered a hand injury during the game and left early. He still played 26 minutes. But for those of you who love Tobias Harris and have him on your fantasy team, Godspeed.
Doc,
bless your heart, as we say down here.
Doc, you know that I'm not a huge Tobias Harris guy. I'm a mild Tobias Harris supporter. That's all I am. But I can tell you this, Doc. There's not one person on planet Earth outside of maybe Tobias Harris's wife, children, brothers, sisters, father, mother, uncles, aunts, nieces, nephews, and close personal friends who are in love with Tobias Harris from a fantasy perspective. Okay, if you are not on the inner circle of Tobias Harris, you don't love Tobias Harris in fantasy. You're maybe okay with Tobias Harris in fantasy, but you don't love it. 15-7 with 3 assists and 1 steal and 1.5 threes and some pretty good efficiency. Nobody loves that. Nobody. That's not a. I love an SGA stat line. That's a stat line that I'll put the word love on, right? I don't love a Tobias Harris stat line. I just think he's okay and maybe a little bit underrated. Doc, I just want to shout out. I got a couple more vibes on this game. I want to shout out Cade Cunningham, okay? Detroit got drilled by 800 points tonight. Our guy Cade Cunningham still put up 18, 8, and 8. And it wasn't efficient, and he didn't have a lot of goodies, but they got beat by 30 freaking points tonight, okay? This could have been like a Jimmy Butler line tonight, okay? Where you're like, bro, were you even alive? Did you even have a pulse? No, you didn't even have a pulse. You were a freaking corpse. You were a goddamn cadaver out there with 11, 5, and 4. Cade Cunningham could have gone 11, 5, and 4 tonight, and we would have gone, they got blown up by Boston. Our guy went 18, 8, and 8. I freaking love some Cade Cunningham, man. And, dude, at Oklahoma State, okay, I was the first NBA guy to make this comp. And at Oklahoma State, and you know, Doc, that I pick a guy or two in college basketball, and they're my microscope guy. Cade Cunningham was my guy that year. And I watched him a bunch of games, and I'm like, this dude's Grant freaking Hill, okay? He's got a similar body type. And he's got a similar game. He's a walking triple-double type. And he got away from that, especially last year. But now this year, boom, the rebounds are right where they need to be. He's had many triple-doubles this year. And he is that Grant Hill clone that I ascertained in the pre-draft process. The other thing I want to talk about with Detroit here, Doc, and I want to set it up and then ask you a question here. Is it time to sell high with Jaden Ivey? In the last 5 games, Doc, his point flow has gone 15, 8, 11, 16, 10. That's waiver wire stuff, okay? His minutes are declining. He's now living in the 20s. Not good. JB Bickerstaff has a lot of options on the wing. He got a random-ass spike game from Ron Holland tonight, okay? Don't bank on that. In my opinion, leave him on waivers. There's nothing to support that game in terms of sustainability, okay? Tonight against Boston, Jaden Ivey was not good. He had 10 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and shot 21%. So you know that I'm a Jaden Ivey guy. He got off to a really good start to the season, and now he's dipping. So where are you at with Jaden Ivey? Are you trying to sell high with him? Are you riding it out with him? Are you sending him to waivers? Where are you at with Jaden Ivey?
I mean, as you said, his numbers are already waiver wire-like. So I don't know that you can sell high on Jaden Ivey because I don't know what you're going to get for him. By selling high, maybe that means you are selling low. I don't even know. He's just not very good. But the thing I like is I still know he's a great offensive player. I know he was second on the team in shots taken tonight. He just didn't make any. He hit 3 of 14 shots. I was hoping Jaden Ivey was going to be a little bit better than he's been, but he's still getting minutes. He's still a big part of what the Pistons do, and I'm just hanging in there with him for now. If he keeps stinking like this, I'll make a move. But for now, I'm just hanging on.
Let me ask you a question. Would you trade, and do you think this is a stupid thought or a legit thought? Would you offer Jaden Ivey to get into some Peyton Pritchard right now?
Oh, absolutely. Dude, I would do that in a second.
Do you think the Peyton Pritchard owners would get off of Pritchard to get into Jaden Ivey, or is that just a dumb idea altogether?
I mean, I don't think they would. I think that those Peyton Pritchard people are like, no, dude, he's been good for me all year. He's a little roller coasterish, but the lowest point his roller coaster goes to is about where Jaden Ivey kind of hangs out, I think.
I hear you, bro. I hear you.
No, I don't think anyone in their right mind would trade Peyton Pritchard to get Jaden Ivey right now.
That is FSWA Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. I am Rick Kamla. We are Fantasy NBA Today, Ethos After Dark. So we talked about Jimmy Butler a little bit as we move into the Raptors at the Miami Heat. That tonight from Jimmy Butler, just one more point on this, and I want to fire up Darko Rajakovic's rotation and what the F was going on with that tonight. To me tonight, and I haven't made this point yet, so I want to make it right now. Jimmy Butler tonight going 11, 5, and 4, only took 8 shots in 29 minutes. That was a get me out of here game from Jimmy Butler. He's bored. It's a home game against Toronto. He completely mailed it in. And that was yo, Pat, you want to shot me? You want to deal me? The divorce is on. Okay, cool. I'm going to take my ball and go home. Until, I don't think we're going to get fat-ass stat lines from Jimmy Butler in this interim phase until he's traded. I don't think we're going to get back to 25 and 5. I don't think we're going to be getting 26 and 22, 6 and 6, right? Like those really Jimmy Butler stat lines with 2 threes per game. 2 steals per game, and about a half a 3 per game. That's always my hang up with Jimmy. All right, so let's move on to the Toronto side here, guys. Please, I have 3 things, actually 2 things here. Darko Rajakovic, the head coach of Toronto. I have nothing against Darko, okay? I'm not putting him in the category of Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr has the worst rotation in the entire NBA right now. I need you to help me out because I did digging. I went to fantasy websites to try to find out why in the frick Bruno Fernando started this basketball game and played 2 minutes. He was not in foul trouble. He did not get injured, okay? Jakob Poeltl came into the game, questionable or whatever, came into the game 2 minutes into the game for Bruno Fernando, who did not re-enter the game, okay? And then you have Kelly Olynyk, our boy Kelly, the other Kelly, the Canadian Kelly. He played 12 minutes tonight. 12. What the frick is going on here, dude? Can you help me make any sense at all of Darko Rajakovic's rotation tonight?
It's confusing. And I don't understand why Bruno only played 2 minutes if he didn't get hurt. So maybe he's hurt. I didn't see anything on it. Jakob Poeltl, and I think I've said this on the show a couple times, he's a walking double-double. If he starts and he plays and he gets his 30 whatever minutes, chances are he's going to have a double-double when it's all said and done. So I'm blown away that he came off the bench tonight, first of all. Secondly, Olynyk came in for 12 minutes. He's playing his, fourth game of the entire season, I think. Fourth game. And he missed his first 6 shots. And at that point, you know, coach was like, hey, go sit down. Pirtle, get back in there. To answer your question, I have no idea what he was doing.
We'll see. I mean, monitor Kelly Olynyk. Is he a must-add right now? I mean, he didn't make a shot tonight. He's not a must-add right now. But keep an eye on it because, like Doc said, maybe this was I'll give you an example, Doc. And you know this to be true, and I know this to be true. Isaiah Joe with the Oklahoma City Thunder, okay? When he's making shots, he plays more. When he is on an 0 for 5, a 1 for 6, he plays 11 or 12 minutes. When he's on a 7 of 11, he plays 24, 26 minutes, right? So Daigneault rides with him when he's making shots. Spoelstra is like that with Duncan Robinson. If Duncan Robinson's on a heater, he'll play him 28 minutes. If Duncan Robinson's on a 2 for 10, he might play 17 minutes that night. So some guys, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr. up in Detroit, Doc, like their playing time is literally dictated by are you making shots or not, And if you're not, then you're going to sit by me a little bit more. All right. So, and then Aaron Brewski's guy, Mogbo, started tonight, played 30 minutes. He did not have a great stat line. He had 10 boards and I think 4 assists and 4 points and like maybe a fantasy gold goodie, but it wasn't a great stat line. Keep your eye on Mogbo, okay? And my guy Agbachi had a decent stat line tonight. It wasn't great. It was like a low-key streamer line. And he's been in the starting lineup for most of the year. But Mogbo, keep your eye on him. He played 30 minutes tonight. He should be a good blocker, steal contributor, a good sort of hustle board statistic contributor. He's not going to score a bunch. He's not going to make threes. But you know, he's a deep league kind of special. But he started tonight. I just wanted to mention that. Keep your eye on him. Now, Doc, Kings at Pelicans. Shout out. I thought you were going to go with Domantas Sabonis for your Magic Man tonight. He went 32 and 20 with 3 assists, 2 steals, almost pitched a perfect game. He was 11 of 15 from the floor, 1 of 1 from 3, 9 of 9 from the free throw line. So a spectacular game by Domantas Sabonis as the Kings barely beat the New Orleans Pelicans, Doc, who cannot, I repeat, cannot buy a win at 5-21 on the season.
Yeah, and look at that Kings starting lineup. Like everybody sort of did their thing. Malik Monk had a bad night, 2 of 11, but he had 9 assists, a steal, a block, a 3, 4 rebounds, 5 points. Everybody else kind of did their thing. Domantas Sabonis, 32-20. That's sick. Yeah, if RJ Barrett wouldn't have had a miracle triple-double, Sabonis would have been my guy. I thought he'd be your guy. DeMar DeRozan scores 29 points with 4 steals and hits 3 3-pointers. I bet you DeMar DeRozan has never had a 3-triple, 4-steal game in his career ever. I would almost bet my house on that. Keegan Murray had 18 points and 9 boards. That's rock solid. De'Aaron Fox, 18, 7, and 8. Steal, block, 3. Only hit 7 of 20. Who cares? Nothing from the bench. Kevin Huerter is really rough right now, man. It's been a bad year to mess with Huerter, just like last year was. I think his fantasy days might be done, dude. I can't do Kevin Huerter. Starters were great. The Kings got a win. Bench non-existent. No one there. Nobody's home.
I'm going to put, I don't want to even task Andre with this because it's too much research. AI is amazing. You just ask the internet questions and it provides answers. So I'm going to really test AI right now, Doc. And I'm going to ask the question, has DeMar DeRozan, where's my thing here? Has DeMar DeRozan had a game with 3 steals and 4 threes? Now, that's the game that he had tonight. but I highly doubt that it's updated for tonight. So because you said you doubt that he's ever had that line again. So
it was three threes and 4 steals.
3 threes and 4 steals. Yes, DeMar DeRozan has. Dude, seriously, like, I don't want robots replacing us humans, like, in our jobs, right? But AI is literally, and I know, like, you're like, Kamla, you're so stupid right now. We all know that AI is amazing. But, like, it just is, man. It just freaking is, okay? Like, 5 years ago, the internet was not this good, all right? Right now, it's just, like, off the charts. Yes, DeMar DeRozan has had a game with 3 3-pointers and 4 steals. So you ask AI questions about your car, questions about whatever. This is as specific as it could possibly get for an AI generator to do. DeMar DeRozan, a game with 3 threes and 4 steals. And they have an answer for it. To me, that's absolutely unbelievable.
When did he do it?
Great parts of being a human in 2024.
Does it tell you when he did it?
Yes. 2019, in a game against the Grizzlies, DeMar DeRozan had 1 3-pointer, 1 steal. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Dude,
this is amazing.
Dude, AI just, you know what just happened, dude? See, it's late at night, and me and Doc like getting a little edgy, getting a little maybe blue with you guys.
This is amazing.
Dude, AI just sharded. AI just sharded. AI says, yes, DeMar DeRozan has had a game with 3 3-balls and 4 steals. And then it gives a statistic from a game that's not 3 3-balls and 4 steals.
How great is AI? What were you saying there, Boomer?
Dude, do you remember the movie Along Came Polly?
Yeah, it's like Ben Stiller and Jennifer Aniston, right?
And Philip Seymour Hoffman. Remember, that's like, remember at the court, the street court in New York City, where Philip Seymour Hoffman, all fat and stuff, is putting up those shots, just bricking shot after shot. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
So you remember when Philip Seymour Hoffman was with Ben Stiller at the art gallery when he met Jennifer Aniston to spark the whole love affair, and Philip Seymour Hoffman comes up to Ben Stiller and says, I sharded. We have to leave right now. You remember that, right?
I had forgotten it, but yes.
Oh.
We have to leave right now. All right. I'm going to leave.
So no, you're not. No, you're not, because we have another conversation to have here, Doc.
Okay. I'm just saying, DeMar DeRozan, there's no way. Take your AI and stick it wherever. There's no way that dude's ever had 3 triples and 4 steals in one game. There's just no way. Maybe when he was in like 5th grade at the Y.
I'm telling you right now, Doc. I disagree. I disagree. I think DeMar DeRozan has had another game. I'm not saying he's had 2 other games. I'm saying I believe he's had at least 1 other game in his Hall of Fame career. And I know he's not a fantasy goal guy. We all know that. He's not a 3-ball guy. He's not a steal guy. He's not a block guy. But he's played 1 million games, and he's been an all-star and a future Hall of Famer. And I would take that bet. Do you want to put a burrito on?
Yeah, I'll do it. Well,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. He's played 1 million games. That's my problem. That's the problem.
He's played 1 million games. So I'm just going to bet on the volume. I don't know that he's had another one of these games. I wonder how many. Bet on the volume that he's probably had another one of those games.
I wonder how many just games where he's had 3 3-pointers in. And how many other games that he's had 4 steals in? That it's got to be under 50.
Well, literally, dude, Andre Lemush needs to win an award or something, man. He's our producer. He's already got the statistic. January 3rd of 28.
It's 4 steals. He needs 4 steals for me to lose this bet.
It's a good point. Because we're talking about a 3-3-4 steal game. And Andre came up with a 5-3, 3-steal game, which is an amazing fantasy gold game. But Andre, our boy, keep looking. Andre, keep looking, because that's not quite the stat combo that we need. All right, Andre will give us that stat as we move on here. Doc, I want to ask you that now. This is a reality thing, okay? This is a reality thing. Because we talked about Jimmy Butler and like the trade is on, and he might go to Phoenix or wherever. And we know that Brandon Ingram is going to be on the trade block with the New Orleans Pelicans. He's out with injury right now. I roll. I mean, my God, it's Brandon Ingram. What else is new? Zion Williamson, Doc. Is this the trade deadline of Zion Williamson if you're the New Orleans Pelicans? And are you just like, yo, I have to take whatever I can get for Zion? And if it's like pennies on the dollar, if I'm getting like scrubs and spare parts and salary cap relief and maybe a pick or two, am I just getting out of Zion Williamson right now if I'm the New Orleans Pelicans? You go first on that.
But, I mean, if you are managing the front office of the New Orleans Pelicans, Zion to you is basically the same guy that he is to those of us who are managing dynasty, fantasy teams with Zion on it. Like, dude, I got to get whatever I can get for him and get out of this because I can't do it anymore. I just can't. There's a reason I never draft Jimmy Butler. There's a reason I will never again draft Zion Williamson. There's a reason that I have never drafted Joel Embiid. There's a reason that for a long time I was out of the Anthony Davis game. I'm back in. I'm back in the AD game, baby. But if I am managing the Pelicans, which I'm clearly not, because I make like $9 a year, I'm moving Zion for whatever I can get. Dude, I just don't know how you can sleep at night if you are the money guy for the Pelicans paying all this money for a product. The last thing anybody remembers him doing is one, hitting 3 3-pointers on opening night of his first game, which has never happened again. And two, blowing his foot out of a Nike on a college basketball court. Other than that, I've just seen some AI crap about him losing 80 pounds.
Doc told me last summer when I was geeked about Zion Williamson at the kids' camp, right? And his neck was looking all skinny and he looked svelte and all. And, he just got a tattoo and was pictured shirtless. And look, I don't grade dudes, I grade athletes, okay? And so you look at him and you're like, bro, really? Like, think about this, Doc. You're a max player in the NBA. When you take your shirt off, you should look like a freaking chiseled Greek god stud, okay?
You used the word chiseled that day, by the way. You're like, he looks chiseled.
I was wrong.
That's AI, bro.
That's AI. Somebody photoshopped that shit and bamboozled the basketball world. And Doc, I give you credit because you called that, dude. You said he's photoshopped.
I'm like, I'm not touching him. No.
My God. And dude, I have a ton of shares of Zion Williamson this year. And my teams are doing fine. Like I'm not a guy, oh my God, I lost Zion Williamson, I'm effed and my season's over. Fuck that. I go out and I pick up guys and I make it work. I don't damn care. I move him to INJ and I act like he's dead and I just move on and keep winning. I ain't tripping on this shit. It's fantasy basketball. But I got a bunch of shares of Zion Williamson, Doc. And I'm telling you right now, there are two guys, Doc. Look, like the Kawhi Leonards, the Jimmy Butlers, like they've been dead to me for years, right? Two guys this year have gone on the dead to me list, Ja Morant and Zion Williamson, because you know that I had vibes on these guys coming into this year, especially Ja Morant. I was very high on Ja Morant coming into this year. I am completely freaking out. I will never draft these guys again because Ja Morant, Doc, dude, how high maintenance is Ja Morant?
And dude, like, how does he not come back from everything he's been through just like Godzilla and just destroying everything in his path.
Exactly.
And he's just not doing it. He just, I can't explain it. I don't believe it. I honestly can't believe how weird he has been. And I also, the same goes for Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, I took him high in several leagues. I was all in on him. I'm like, that kid learned so much last year. He gained so much confidence. He's a healthy dude that doesn't miss games. He calls his teammates out. He wants to kill, in his words, kill everything in front of him. Like he just wants to run through it and destroy it. And then this year, 5 for 17, 6 for 18, 3 for 14. It's like every night, it's just garbage. Like, come on, dude. I had huge expectations for Ant, and there's still time. Like, he didn't really get hot last year until after, like All-Star break. And then he just kind of caught fire, and then he got to the real playoffs, and that's when he started killing everything in front of him. So there's time for him to turn this around. But I thought Ja, if anybody was going to come out this season and not be a letdown, it was Ja and Ant, and they've both been a letdown.
To me, Ja way more than Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is 18th in basketball monster value. Anthony Edwards' 3-ball number is insane. He's at 4.5 threes per game. Doc, I'm telling you right now, you could have traveled me throughout our universe to the sun, to Mars, to Jupiter, to Pluto. And I would not have found a season where Anthony Edwards hits 4.5 threes a game. That's Steph Curry-esque, okay? Let me do a search here and see 3 balls per game. Okay, is he number 1? He's number 2. LaMelo Ball leads the NBA in 3 balls per game at 4.7. Anthony Edwards, number 2 at 4.5. Hero at 4.2. Steph Curry at 4.1. Brandon Miller at 4. Okay, but how about that? Anthony Edwards is second in the freaking league in threes made per game. That's insanity.
That's why his field goal percentage sucks, dude. He's just standing out there chucking.
Agreed.
Just chucking.
I don't disagree. But I'll take 20. I'm not saying you're wrong, okay? Anthony Edwards was drafted ahead of Tyrese Halliburton, ahead of Jason Tatum, all right, maybe even ahead of Giannis Antetokounmpo in some leagues. He was a first-round pick. He was a pick at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, one of those spots you're taking Anthony Edwards, and right now he's delivering 18th value in Basketball Monster. That is not the bang for the buck that you wanted, but Anthony Edwards does not suck. Like Tyrese Halliburton has literally torpedoed your season. He has shat on your season. Anthony Edwards is not shat on your season.
I'll take that. Ant is shooting 10.5 triples per game. He said 43%. You can't hate on it. But dude, drive to the rack.
You know that Chris Finch is clamoring for him to drive to the rack, Doc. Like to get the efficiency up, to draw fouls, to be able to just drop off to a big on your way to the hoop as opposed to just falling in love with that 3-ball. Coaches don't want their best player to fall in love with the 3-ball, man. I promise you Chris Finch is talking to him. Chris Finch does not want him averaging 4.5 3-balls made per game.
That's a lot. What else happened in this game? Let's get out of here. We've got for the Pelicans, Herb Jones, a bunch of nothing, dude. I'm still really not feeling the Herb Jones ride. It hasn't been great. Yves Missi, 7 points, 11 boards, 1 block. I'm cool with all that. CJ scored 36. DeJounte had 27 and 9. Trey Murphy looked good, man. 3 triples, 21 points, 4 boards, a steal. Not a lot going on the New Orleans bench, including my guy Brandon Boston. I feel like Boston should be taking off with Brandon Ingram hurt, but it just hasn't happened.
I agree with that, but Boston did have 1-1-1 in the block steals and threes. He did, like, if you streamed him tonight, you didn't like take a massive L. Like, it was okay. It wasn't a great line, but he did help you out. He did give you some counting numbers tonight. And, you know, with Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson out, he is going to provide some goodies. If he becomes the 8th man, the 9th man, you may be able to send him back to waivers, but who the heck knows if and when that's going to be the case with the 2 myths. Maybe the 2 biggest myths in the entire NBA being Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson always being on the shelf.
And Mark Williams.
Good point. We gotta do like an all myth segment, like or the all. You know what, dude? Let's for next week. Let's come up with our all myth team. You like 5 guys. Do you want to do positionless or center forward, guard? Like, how do you want to do that?
You tell me what to send you, and I'll put it together. I'll figure.
Let's go positionless. Let's open it up. Let's just 5 guys. Your all myth team, my all myth team, just the top 5 myths in the NBA. Okay, that's going to be a fun study for next week. Doc, anything you need to pimp? Any articles? Any shows coming up with Brewski? Anything you want to tell the people before we get out of here?
You just reminded me that I don't have tomorrow off. For a minute, I thought I had all day to do whatever I wanted tomorrow, but I don't. Brewski and I are going to be here doing a podcast around 12:30, around 1 o'clock, around 12:15. And then we're going to record a second one that will air on Saturday. So my week is not over yet. But
is that going to keep you off the golf course tomorrow?
It will not keep me off the Golden Tee machine. As long as we don't go as long as we went last week. Like Brewski and me and Andre recorded a show last week and we got done. It was like an hour and 40 minutes. And I took my headphones off. I was leaving and Andre's like, "Hey, I just sent you the agenda for the next show." And I was like, "What? We're doing more?" So hopefully we keep it a little shorter tomorrow. And you and I are not exactly keeping these super short, but I don't care. It's fun. And I'm not complaining about working tomorrow. Like, this is fun. This is what I want to do for my job. So I'm happy to be there tomorrow. And, you know, any day I don't get to see Andre, it's just a bad day. So tomorrow at 12:30, Rick and I, or Brewski and I will be here.
You and Brew. Dude, I just a shout out to Brew. Because after the first week in 30 deep, he was like 29th in the power rankings. Like the first week or two, right? He got off to a slow start. I look going into this week, Brewski's at like 6th or 7th in power rankings in 30 deep. Like his team's rolling, dude. His team's rolling.
Are you enjoying my 8-game week that I'm having against you this week? I'm sure you are.
Let's check the score ski.
The Clippers only played once this whole week, and I've got my whole 30-deep team is Clippers. So, congrats on your win.
Ooh, Kamla 8, Doc 1. I'm also playing Matt Smith, who's got a good record. He's with Basketball Monster. He's got a 70-55 record. I'm at 72-51. I'm 7-1-1 over him as well. Let's go to the standings here real quick and let y'all know.
I've had like one guy play this week, and
I'll take it. I'm not.
It's Thursday. I've had one guy play. I'll tell you what. I was a fan of the Cup. Now I'm not. Get this thing out of here and bring me. The only break I want to take from the NBA is the All-Star break. taking this whole week off is a bunch of crap. It's unnecessary. There were no cup games tonight, but we only have 3 teams playing. It's BS.
Now you hit it. And tomorrow night, too, because the cup games, I believe, Doc, don't start until Saturday, right? So, like, if you want to designate cup, like, days, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, cup only. Saturday, cup only, right? The 2 semifinal games, right? Like the Final Four, you get the doubleheader and stuff. But Monday, there should be a glut of games. Thursday and Friday, there should be a glut of games. And then Sunday, there should be a glut of games. But the fact that, like, it's the NBA Cup, and then all of these other teams get these massive breaks in the schedule, I don't like it either, dude. It's like the NBA is kind of sort of taking a half-ass week off here, and I'm not feeling it. And again, it all is about the wussification of our league in terms of we need to rest, we need to load manage, we need to get these guys off their feet more, blah, blah, blah. It's a bunch of crap. And watch this next week, Doc. After this week of inactivity, dudes are going to come back and blow tires with soft tissue injuries. It's probably going to happen because they've been licking their wounds and chilling and not playing. Just quickly here, I want to give you the power rankings in 30 deep. If you're wondering, it's a very famous 30-team league of industry. Guys, me and Doc and Aaron Brewski have been in this league for 20-some years. Doc and Brewski are 2 of the patriarchs of this thing, and it's my current holy grail in all fantasy sports. If I, like, look, I'm trying to win cash leagues, and I've got all these big leagues I'm trying to win. And I've won a bunch of coveted fantasy championships. I have not won 30 deep yet. This is my holy grail. Right now, I am 6th. Aaron Brewski is 10th. And where are you, Doc? You are at 16th. Your team has dipped a little bit over the last couple of weeks, dude. What you were a couple of weeks, you were like up in the top 5. What's happened over the last couple of weeks?
Am I 16th in power rankings?
Yeah.
I'll take that. Norm Powell got hurt, and some Kobe White and Norm Powell both went down for me.
There you go.
And that's in 30 deep. You get 2 injuries to 2 of your core guys, and you're gonna suck. And then this week, I feel like everybody's healthy, but the Clippers only playing 1 time this week, man. I have Harden. I have Norm Powell. I have his Norm Powell's backup. What's
Coffee?
Yeah, I've got Coffee. I've got the other guy. Why can't I remember anyone's name right now? Anyway, I've got a bunch of Clippers, and it sucks. So I'm just trying to get through this week, and then after that, we're going to come back, start kicking ass. I think I've got Al Horford in my lineup this week. So thanks for the 6 boards, no points, or 2 points, and 3 shots tonight, Al. Appreciate it.
Your boy might be in first place overall after this week. We shall see. Guys, it has been a fun run. We rock and roll Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. Okay, me and Doc here on Fantasy NBA Today, Ethos After Dark. So we're going to be off, me and him, for a couple of days. Like he said, he'll be on about 12:30 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow with the great Aaron Brewski. So for our awesome producer, Andre Lemouche, and for FSWA Hall of Famer, Steve Alexander, I am Rick Kamla with a couple of reminders before we get out of here. Don't forget to subscribe to the Sports Ethos podcast feed and YouTube channel. If you're watching live, please leave a thumbs up. We would greatly appreciate that. Join Doc and Brew tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern on YouTube, or tune in for the next episode on the podcast feed. Make sure to check sportsethos.com and join us on Discord. The link is on the show description. And this episode was presented by Bet Online. Go win your fantasy games. Go win your DFS tickets. Go kick ass and take names in this great sport we call fantasy basketball. And me and Doc will be back here next Monday night. Peace out, everybody.